What's up, guys? Welcome back. Thank you for watching. Today we're going to continue the best carry ammo series with a whole new batch of ammo. And for those of you who haven't seen these videos before, basically what we do is test different types of self-defense ammo through a small concealed carry pistol to see how these bullets perform out of a shorter length barrel. So the gun that we're going to use today is my Glock 43. This is a single stack subcompact 9mm pistol, and the ballistic shell that I use is Clear Ballistics 20% ballistic shell blocks. We have a new block in the front and an older block in the back just to catch anything that leaves our first gel block. And in these carry ammo tests, we do use the FBI heavy clothing kit. That is a thin t-shirt layer, a thick t-shirt layer, a layer of heavy fleece material, and a layer of denim. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this ammo out and we will get started with the video. Alright guys, we're going to start today with another Federal Premium HST round. This is the 147 grain HST, and I have one of the bullets out there. I have tested the 124 grain and the 124 grain plus P versions of the HST, but this will be the first time testing the 147 grain. So let's load it up and see how it does. Alright, this bullet went in pretty much right in the middle of the ballistic shell block, and about a ½ inch in, it looks like there is some type of fragment there. I'm not sure if that's a bullet fragment or maybe a piece of the clothing. I will pull that out and find out later, but about an inch into the gel block, that wound channel started expanding quite a bit, and the bullet went almost perfectly straight in our gel block. And right there you can see that there is more pieces of the clothing that the bullet dragged in with it. And our bullet stopped right in between our two ballistic shell blocks. So we don't need the tape measure for this one. We do know that it stopped at about 16 inches since these are 16-inch gel blocks. And I can probably just pull this bullet out of here without using the knife. And you can see there that it did expand. And 147 grain bullets usually do not expand like 115 or 124 grain bullets. They're kind of designed to penetrate more and expand a little less, so this one looks like it definitely performed pretty well. Alright guys, next up we got another 147 grain bullet, and all the ammo that I'm shooting today was sent to me by viewers, so I don't have the box for some of these, but this is the 147 grain Federal Hi-Shok. Alright, the Hi-Shok went in right above our HST, and it looks like the wound cavity is not quite as big as it was from the HST. It did expand a little bit at about the 6-inch mark, but overall it's just a smaller wound cavity, and the bullet continued down our gel block and came to a stop right there. Obviously I'll pull this bullet out when I'm done with the test, but it doesn't look like it expanded as much as the HST either. And it did have a little bit of bounce back in the gel block, so with that included it stopped at 15 inches. Alright, next up we're going to test the 115 grain Fort Scott Munitions TUI, which stands for Tumble Upon Impact. And I've tested this one a few times on the channel now, but I've shot it through my Glock 17 only. And a lot of you guys seem to be pretty impressed with this round, so let's see how it does out of the Glock 43. Alright guys, the Fort Scott went in right where the HST did, and the wound cavity is kind of hidden, so I'm going to go ahead and retest this one and see if we can't get it maybe below the rest of the bullets that we shot. This is one of the disadvantages of trying to test multiple bullets in the same gel block, but I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't get it a little bit further away from that HST round. Alright, so that one worked out quite a bit better. The second Fort Scott TUI that we shot is on the very bottom of the gel block. And for the first 4 or 5 inches, not much happened. And then the wound cavity really started expanding. And one thing I've noticed about these Fort Scott TUI rounds is that the wound cavity stays large further down the gel block, where you'll notice that the hollow points, it's for about the first 4 to 5 inches is where you get most of that expanded wound cavity. But I'm not sure if it's because the bullet's tumbling or what, but with the Fort Scott TUI, it's definitely bigger further down the gel block. So the bullet continued, and it's kind of hard to see, but it stopped about 1 inch into our second gel block. The first one that we shot stopped right at the end of our first gel block, and this one did make it to the second gel block, but not very far. It stopped at about 1 inch into that second gel block. And I know it's kind of hard to see through that cloudy gel block, but our second Fort Scott TUI stopped at about 17.5 inches. Alright guys, next up we're going to test the 124 grain plus P Freedom Munitions X-treme Defensive Carry. And this is an interesting looking bullet. I'm not sure if you guys can see down in there, but in that hollow point cavity there's little like ridges that are sticking out inside of that bullet. So I've never seen anything that looked like that before, but let's step back and see how it does. Alright, I was trying to place that one in the top right corner, and it went to the right and left our gel block. So I'm going to go ahead and try this one again as well. Alright, so the first attempt at that Freedom Munitions round is the one on the top, and it went to the right and left our gel block. The second one that I shot is right below it, and you can see that the wound cavity is pretty consistent for about the first 6 inches, and then the bullet continued down our gel block and stopped right there. Looks like it expanded quite a bit. Again, this is a lighter weight bullet than the first few that we shot, so you're going to get more expansion. It is turned sideways in the gel, so it's kind of hard to see, but from this view it looks like it did expand quite a bit, and it came to a stop at 13 inches into our first gel block. Alright guys, I know the gel block is already crowded as it is, but I want to do one more round that I had sent to me by a viewer. This is the 115 grain plus P plus Speer Gold Dot, and I have a feeling that this one's going to stop much shorter in the gel block and probably expand quite a bit. So I wanted to go ahead and add this one to the video today and see how it does. Alright, so I put this one right where I wanted to, and luckily for me, because there's not many other spots left in that gel block. The recoil of this round was absolutely crazy, but you can see that the wound cavity is very large. Not nothing that's, you know, like blowing my mind or anything. It is definitely pretty big, and the bullet actually penetrated a lot further than I thought it would, and didn't really expand as much as I thought it would. It actually went further than the Freedom Munitions round that we shot, and looks like it expanded about the same. So I've done a lot of tests with the 124 grain Gold Dot, and this almost looks like it performed pretty similar to that. I'm not sure if the clothing may have affected it, and it would do differently in bare gel, but with the heavy clothing test out of that small pistol, this bullet did not overexpand and underpenetrate like I thought it would. And the 115 grain plus P plus Gold Dot stopped at 13 inches into our first gel block. And here are the bullets that I pulled out of the gel. I got a lot of them out here, so I'm going to try and go through these pretty quickly. The first one here is 147 grain HST, and I showed you guys this one when I pulled it out of the gel, but it did expand and perform really well. The second one here is the 147 grain Hi-Shok, and you can see compared to the HST, and these are the same bullet weight, but it just did not expand hardly at all. And the HST actually got more penetration as well. So the Hi-Shok just didn't do very well in my opinion. The third one here is the Fort Scott Munitions TUI 115 grain, and this one got the most penetration out of the 5 rounds that we shot. And as always, it's in perfect condition, did not deform at all, and also performed very well. The fourth one here is the 124 grain plus P Freedom Munitions Extreme Defensive Carry, and this one was turned sideways in the gel block when I shot it, so I wasn't really able to see how much it expanded, but it did expand quite a bit and performed pretty well. The fifth and final round that we shot is the 115 grain plus P plus Speer Gold Dot, and I expected this one to overexpand and underpenetrate, and it really didn't do that. I actually have a 124 grain Gold Dot right here that I shot in the same test, and you can see that the 124 grain bullet actually expanded more than the 115 grain plus P plus bullet did. So I'm not sure if the clothing affected the 115 grain bullet, but did not expand as much as I thought it would, and it penetrated more than I thought it would. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully that gel block didn't get too crowded there towards the end. That's just one of the problems that you face when you're trying to put 4 or 5 rounds into the same ballistics gel block, and trying to find that sweet spot for the camera to be able to see it. So I hope that the video comes out okay. I also want to thank the viewers who sent me this ammo that I use in this video today. It really helps me out a lot, and I really appreciate that, so thank you all for that. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up for me. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.